This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
One of the interesting things about the Trump camp is this notion of loyalty. They talk about it a lot as though it's something they adhere to. They hold it in high esteem, even though their dear leader, Donald Trump, shows no loyalty to anyone, even his children. Donald Trump is not a man who holds loyalty unless it's a one-way street to him in high esteem. He just doesn't care about loyalty. And now he's getting a taste of his own medicine. It seems that a lot of co-defendants of Donald Trump are now turning on him. They're now showing him a taste of his disloyal medicine. I'm going to read this headline from Politico. Trump's co-defendants are already starting to turn on him. There's a nascent courtroom strategy by some people close to Donald Trump. Heap blame on the former president. Now, this isn't a new strategy. We've seen this with many of the defendants and co-defendants in the case surrounding their participation in the insurrection. Many of the insurrectionists, the traitors to our country, some who were not charged with seditious conspiracy, but other charges for their participation in the attempted overthrow of the United States government by way of overturning a free and fair election. We witnessed a lot of these people say, well, Donald Trump told us to show up. He told us to be here. He told us to do what we did. Many of them, as an official defense in court, in sworn testimony and documents, use that as a defense. And now it's happening again. The finger pointing among Donald Trump's inner circle has begun. And as his 4 criminal cases march toward trials, some of his aides, allies, and co-defendants are pointing at the former president. In court documents and hearings, lawyers for people in Trump's orbit, both high-level advisors and lesser-known associates, are starting to reveal glimmers of a tried-and-true strategy in cases with many defendants. Portray yourselves as a hapless pawn while piling blame on the apparent kingpin. Now, I don't appreciate this language from this Politico article because he is not the apparent kingpin. With all the information we have, both public and information that was private but became public, we know Donald Trump is indeed the kingpin. He's not the apparent kingpin or the alleged kingpin. He's the kingpin. Quote, history has shown the 18 co-defendants that Donald Trump doesn't care about anyone but himself, said Michael Cohen, Trump's former lawyer, referring to the 18 people charged alongside Trump in the Georgia election racketeering case. I suspect it will be every defendant for himself, Cohen added. Him or herself, because there are women involved and accused in that case. He should know. He was once Trump's versatile fixer, but is now a star witness against him in the New York criminal case stemming from hush money payments to a porn star. Cohen broke with Trump years ago, but in recent weeks, Trump allies who are facing or could have faced jeopardy in connection with 3 of his 4 pending criminal cases have shown that they might follow Cohen's lead. In late August, an information technology aide at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort dramatically changed his story about alleged efforts to erase surveillance video and agreed to cooperate with special counsel Jack Smith, who has charged Trump with hoarding classified documents. The aide, Yuscil Tavares, was not charged in the case, but his flip may help him dodge a possible perjury charge prosecutors were floating, and it is likely to bolster Smith's obstruction of justice case against Trump and 2 other aides who have not yet flipped. Not yet. Then, 3 GOP activists who were indicted alongside Trump in Georgia for trying to interfere with the certification of President Joe Biden's win in the state asserted that their actions were all taken at Trump's behest. That's something I talked about a week or 2 ago. Because it is important. This is happening. And last week, Trump's former White House chief of staff, Mark Meadows, also charged in the Georgia case, signaled that his defense is likely to include blaming the former president as the primary driver of the effort. It is not uncommon for co-defendants facing serious prison time to point fingers at each other to make themselves look less culpable to an eventual jury. But rarely has it played out in such an extraordinary fashion where the alleged ringleader, there it is again, the alleged ringleader, is a former president. Look, it's all good and fine when you're a surrogate on TV or you're a talking head or whatever to defend Donald Trump and his criminality. It's another thing entirely when you're facing perjury charges for your sworn testimony, but also another thing entirely when you're facing down the prospect of years in prison. In this case, it would be state prison, Georgia state prison, not federal prison. But when you're facing real jail time where they're going to take your freedom from you, it's an entirely different thing of whether or not you're going to stand in the gap for Donald Trump. Because these people have witnessed everything we've witnessed relative to Donald Trump and his disloyalty. They know who he is. They witness, some of these people behind closed doors, how he talks about people who were previously allies. Some of these people know Donald Trump better than anybody, and they know he will throw them out with the trash. So what better way to protect themselves than to not be loyal to those who are disloyal? We will see. I mean, really, there's no way to tell until the time comes. There's no way to tell how a jury will take this. But it seems like all good news to me. I'd love to know what you think. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. I'd love to hear from you. If you appreciate what I do, you value my work or me or whatever, and you want to help support the work we do here, help produce what we do here, click the join button below, become a channel member for $2 a month, hit the super thanks button, or even better, you can go over to my Patreon page, which is patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. All those are great ways to help support the work, which I think is very important. You can help support the work we do here. Follow me on social media. I am at Dollemore on Twitter and Instagram and Threads and TikTok and Facebook, at Dollemore. I'd love to see you there. And I will see you next time, wherever there is. Be genuine. Take care of one another.